Controls design environment, working with CDE. In this module, I'm going to cover working with connections. So as you can see, I've got a basic CDE project set up with some elements already added to the system. Underneath the cell, you can see I've got a safety block defined. And if I break down the station I've listed here, I've got some additional blocks listed. So these are typically where you're going to have connections between physical devices, whether limit switches, proc switches, or whatever it may be, and connecting on them to actual I/O blocks. In a similar fashion, the device net, you'll have connections that will need to be assigned to particular device nets in your system. So we'll start out with the I/O connections, and if I go into the station configuration tab, you'll also see a sub tab in there for I/O. So if I click on that, I can see I've got a list of all the different blocks that I've created as elements in the system. So I've got a safety block SBK02, I've got a standard block BK01, as well as another standard block BK02. On the left, underneath the unconnected listing, you'll see there's a little green circle arrow to refresh your list. So in case something changes elsewhere in the system while you may have had this tab open, you can hit that refresh button and it'll repopulate that list with any of the I/O that's not shown as connected. So assigning these is fairly simple. All you need to do is drag them and drop them onto an appropriate I/O point. So you can see here, if I try to drop this power connector for BK02 under an input point, it won't let me do that. But it will let me assign this under the safety block onto this port, which contains both an input and an output, so it can provide power to that. And you can see it automatically puts it there. So I can do the same thing with these other items that are listed here and map them to the appropriate points that I would want on any of the given blocks. Okay, so you can see these are mapped. Now what you'll notice is down at the bottom of the screen, there's a connect in parent option. This would be used if you wanted to connect an I/O point to a block that would be up one level, so up at a cell level. So in this case, if I wanted to have, I'm going to remove this connection here for the manifold power. So say I wanted that connected into the safety block that's defined at the cell level, I would drag it here to say connect in parent. Now if I go over to the cell configuration tab, I can go to the I/O there, and it makes it available under its unconnected list. So I could then assign that item to the output on safety block 01. So it's fairly simple. All you need to do is drag and drop between the items. Now if you want to reconnect this to a different point on here, you would need to drag it back to the unconnected list and then move it from there to the new point that you wanted to assign to. So I'd mentioned device net connectors work in a similar manner. So I'll show you that here. But those are all up at the controller level. So I have to open up the controller level tab, go to the device net sub tab that's in there, and you'll see I have all my potential device net nodes that have entered into the system. And I can do the same thing, drag and drop these to the particular device net I want to connect them to. You'll notice here the next one, my SBK02 for the station level, right now it shows the same DNet node as the one I just dropped onto device net 4. If I take and drop that over onto that same device net, you'll see it automatically indexes it to the next number. So it makes that change for you. But you need to verify that if that's the correct node that you want to have it at. So, but it will automatically make sure that you don't have any duplicate nodes within the network. So similarly, I can drag the rest of these guys to the device nets I want them connected to. The same thing as in the I/O. If you want to move it to a different network, you'd have to drag it back out to the unconnected list, and then you can move it to where you need it. So connections are fairly simple to work with, and that's all we've got for now.